Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Leader Lab. This is Leadership Shorts, quick thoughts to help you level up your leadership. My name is Chad Wright. I'm the founder of Forward Partners, and I am joined, as always, by my partner in podcasting, Emily Grace Deal. Emily Grace Deal, what are we talking about today?
Today, we're talking about resolutions.
Yes.
So you're probably seeing this episode in February.
Okay,
yep.
So early in the year, we're releasing it.
Right.
Okay.
And that probably means that we've kind of fallen off the wagon with some of our resolutions.
If it was going to happen, it's probably stopped at this point, right? Yeah, now's about the time. It's perfect timing.
So if New Year's resolutions don't work, how do we effectively create better habits?
I think this is an interesting topic because the reality is they don't work. I actually found a study that talked about the idea that only between 8 and 20% of people actually achieve the resolutions that they set out to do. So there's at the best case scenario, 80% failure rate. Not good. Worst case, 92%. That's not good. We're not great at resolutions. And so I think it's interesting because over the last few years, I think we internally as a team have seen some really positive changes. Mm-hmm. And we've all kind of progressed and grown, and almost none of it was tied to a New Year's resolution. And I think it's things that, interestingly, probably were New Year's resolutions for us a few years ago, right? Mm-hmm. Like over the last year, my physical health has been steadily getting better. That's been a New Year's resolution for 44 of my 44 years. And so it hasn't progressed, but we've seen progress. And I think it's interesting to kind of dive into why. And I think the first concept is we don't wait. Don't wait for January 1st. Don't wait for Monday. I think Monday is another big, I'll start that on Monday.
Right.
There's nothing magical about January 1st.
Our brain is super good at making excuses. So
it's always going to go to what's easiest. And what's easiest is to not start.
Right.
And so if we make the decision of, well, I'm just going to push this to Monday. Well, now we get a hit of dopamine because we made a choice and we did something good and we feel,
right. Well, not to mention Mondays are normally like a hard day getting back on it and like work.
Suck.
And like that's probably not the most ideal time to start because you're always going to have something crazy happen on a Monday.
Absolutely.
So it's probably that just gives you one more thing to be like, oh, well, since something happened today, now I'll just can't start till next Monday. So
I think that's the biggest thing. If you want to start something, go.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually listening to a podcast. I think it was Simon Sinek's podcast 2 days ago. And there was a woman on there who was talking about this idea of when you feel like you need to do something, if you wait, your feelings are going to kick in and you're going to find reasons not to.
Yeah.
And so she had this concept of as soon as you spot something you need to do, whether like getting out of bed, I literally used it this morning because alarm went off at 5 a.m. to get up and go to the gym before we did this. Boy, when that alarm goes at 5 a.m., I'm not a happy person. And I sat there and I used the concept, which was when you spot it, you just immediately count down and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on 5, you get up and go. You just rip the Band-Aid off and go. It's actually really helpful.
Yeah.
And I think there's something to that when it comes to effectively growing and changing. At the end of the day, we got to just move.
It's funny. I do that with my kids a lot. So
yes.
And not always like you're in trouble, do what I say, but more so like, okay, we're going to give it 5 minutes and then we're going to go.
Yes.
I do that with my kids all the time.
Yeah, you get this 5 seconds to grovel and not want to do it and complain and whatever. But after that 5, man, we're rocking.
I wonder if it's part of that. Like our brain's just like, yes.
It really is.
I have been told.
It really is. And so I think taking action quickly really matters. But there's some other things that matter too. I think one of the things we've really, hit on is this idea of setting direction.
Yeah.
Of I really do want to do things better. And once you set that direction, I want to, reading is an interesting one. We've turned into a weird team of readers. We're like knocking out books like crazy.
Yes, and I just finished another one.
Good. Look at you. And I think part of that is we set the direction. Hey, we all really do want to read more. We enjoy it. It brings life back to us. We learn. It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know how much y'all are learning. I know what y'all read, but I'm learning at least. That was super judgy, wasn't it?
How to avoid serial killers.
I wish the viewers could see Emily's face over here. She was definitely felt judged in that moment. And so ultimately, I think setting direction of I want to do something better, but then asking why. Mm-hmm. Why do we want to do something better? I think often we're missing that piece of it, and the why really matters. Yeah. And they tell you this every time you start at a gym. They always ask you about your why, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I want to look better. I want to do this. I want to do that. And ultimately having that matters because like even this morning at the gym when I almost fell on my face and ruined this entire day, I was really struggling with something, and my why has nothing to do with me. Like I look how I look. It's 44. This is what it looks like. When you like the things I like, this is how it looks. And so at the end of the day, I'm not really trying to I've got to look better. But I thought about the people we serve, and I literally thought about yesterday, some impact we had with somebody, and I was like, man, if I do this better, I can have more of that.
Right.
And people's lives can be better. And that motivated me, got me excited. So I think you set the direction, and then you have to identify why. Why do I even want to get better? Why do we want to read more books or do more good things for ourselves?
Well, and I'm thinking like our book resolution, it was, we kind of set that at the beginning of last year, but I didn't even really start reading until probably the middle of the year. And then I still knocked out my goal, but like, and I think we both picked it up later on. It wasn't January that we started off
what's
strong.
Funny is I think through October, I think I set a goal of reading like 12 books. And I think through October I had read 4, and then I bought a Kindle, by the way, superpower, buy Kindle. I bought a Kindle, and I think I read, I don't know, I think my total for the year ended up being like 21 books.
Yeah.
So that means I read like 16 books in 2.5 months.
Right.
And so, we picked it up late, but it was, hey, this is a direction we want to go, which kind of brings us to another piece of it. Like, what are the actions that are going to get you there? Well, we had to create habits, and when are we actually going to go do this? When are we going to set aside time and set boundaries?
Yeah, making it that priority. Just saying, oh, I'm going to drink more water next year or whatever your resolution may be. Like, cool.
So
do you have a water bottle? Do you have like a plan to actually do that? Like, do you have the things you need to do to get it done? Instead of just wishful thinking, I guess.
Well, and it also makes me realize we have to be at every step of this, from setting direction, creating a why, defining actions. Our brain is always going to be finding ways to procrastinate. And so even in what do we need to get it done? What actions, what things do we need? There's I don't have that thing. I can't take action. And that's why I think you have to start with the idea that everything is taking action, because your brain's going to lie to you. The other side of that is
buying all of the things. Not doing it at all, which is more the direction that I normally go in.
Yes, because what's funny is when we talk about taking actions and why defining actions matters is one of the actions might be buy the things.
Yes.
Then do the thing with the things. And I think that if that's missing, we buy the things, our brain goes, oh, we did something. Did we really? Like, did we do something that really is going to push us if we never touch it again?
Yes.
And so I think that's a big piece of it.
Buying books is a good example.
Yes, it is. And then and the reason I think this has worked specifically, and a lot of things, the progress we've made has worked, is the last piece is recruit a team.
Yeah.
You really need people with you. If you are trying to make genuine change to your life, I don't care what that change is, it's so hard to do by yourself, because it is essentially you fighting with yourself, because your brain is going to have so many reasons you should not do this thing. And it can both logically understand that this thing would be good for you and emotionally fight you every step of the way. And having friends and people and coworkers and peers and mentors to say, no, we'll help you on this journey. Makes a huge difference.
Encourage you, push you a little. Yeah.
100%. That community makes such a difference. So I think there's something to this, because we know we need to get better. We know we need to grow. We know we need better habits, but actually doing those is so incredibly difficult, because I think up here, I think it's the big piece we're going to wrestle with. So leaders, let's talk next steps. It is early in the year still. If you have fallen off the wagon on a New Year's resolution, do not give up on it.
Don't wait till next January.
Like, we jumped in ours in October of last year and nailed it. So honestly, don't give up, but really think through this. Think through, what is that change you want to make? Really start to set that direction and identify that why. Why do you want to make this change? And is that change for you? Is it for somebody else? And then what are the actions that are going to get you there? And how are you going to fit that into your probably already crazy schedule? And finally, recruit a team. You need people around you. Life is so much better when you got people to encourage you, to challenge you. You're more likely to make that change if you're not trying to do it by yourself. If people want to send us questions, we are so excited about 2025. This is our first episode we're recording. We're recording our first batch today. This is going to be such a good year for the company. It's going to be such a good year for growth for all of us, I think. And hopefully for our listeners and our readers. And so if they want to join us on that journey and they want to send us questions and comments and maybe updates on where they are falling off the wagon and getting back on,
let us know.
Where do they send that to?
To lab@forwardpartners.net.
Lab@forwardpartners.net. If they want to find us online, we are producing so much great content to help people. Where do they find that?
@ForwardPartner.
@ForwardPartner on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. I so appreciate getting back to do this again. I love this every time we do it. And so I really appreciate you joining me on this journey. John, Porchlight Productions Vineyard, happy to be back in the studio, my friend. It's looking amazing. Thank you so much for producing. Other Emily, thank you for coordinating. And thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We deeply appreciate you. Share this with fellow leaders. Go on a journey with somebody. Get better this year. We'll see you next time right here in the Leader Lab for Leadership Shorts.